Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ozcast.
Fortunately for them, their DJ neighbour, Matt Burgess, couldn't sleep.
My nine-jar Walsh, lovely bloke. He's been around for ages. Oh, mate. Cheers. I love him. He's a cracker.
And world tennis number 3, Andy Martins, had to, Andy Murray even.
Welcome to God knows whatever round of Best Team Men. I've completely lost count. But
Round 69.
But we are brought to you today by Con and Lena at the Brighton Trophy Centre, Mind and Movement Physio, the Odd Sock Mob and Shifty Lizard. Andy, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you boys?
Going all right.
well,
Going all right. Two very quick shout-outs before we get straight into business, boys.
No.
Glenn Hawke, he's on the plaque. He's a founding member of Best Team Men. It was his beautiful son Riley's birthday the other day, so I think we want to give a shout-out to one of our family members.
On you, Riley.
And to Jamie Manson, who has dropped off some Tomich wines, some Bernard Tomich wines that we are going to be consuming for our next kind of special podcast thing we're doing later on this week. It's like a double drop week, boys.
It is. And he was filthy on me with the multi.
Very filthy. Yeah, he dropped the wine off and we were like, hey, let's have a chat. See you, boys.
He's like, I would have given you guys 3 each, but, decided to take that away.
Well, maybe we can put him in for the Shifty Lizard award because his legs did get up over the weekend. So
Great idea. Where did we meet him, boys? Where did we go and meet Jamie?
behind the scenes.
Behind the sex.
Really?
Behind
Andy,
the
can you
scenes.
please plug my phone in right now? So if you weren't listening to last round, there's a cafe with pink branding called BTS. I went out for coffee once and someone said, we should go to behind the scenes. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not called that. There's rumours going round. Make sure you're playing the right one, Andy. Which is
The others are short. They're like farts.
and let's see how we go. What does BTS actually stand for?
Oh, mate.
Is it folklore? Is it...
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, just whatever you want it to be.
Pretty well much, yeah.
Because one person said to me once it was behind the scenes, another person said to me it was better than sex.
Yeah. Oh, look. Either either.
What a grab.
He doesn't know.
What a grab. I tell you what, if you took that back to the newsroom and they're like, Jared, you've done your job today,
And
sir.
I did take you through the criteria of why I was made redundant. It's audio grabs, which is the real reason.
It sounded like you met him in the toilet. It does, doesn't it?
I did. It's really weird that I found this week. On Monday, I went to the zoo with my family, and today I'm here. I haven't had to think about parking in the city for about 16 years. Jeez, it's a pain in the arse.
It really is. Unless you've got a company-branded car and you're parking loading zones all the time.
He does parking ticket roulette every week, mate.
Yeah.
He's like, I wonder if I got one today. I'm in a loading zone for 4 hours.
The hazard lights are Matty's best friends. That's right. As long as I'm carrying some sort of box with me, I'm fine.
Very true. We got a box of wine today,
That's right.
which you can carry. We've got a lot coming up this round. We talk about a Port Pirates update. They're actually playing at home this week.
And we're going.
We are definitely going to be there. I might be a
Don't
bit
know about
late.
that yet, guys.
Oh!
Even I'm committed. Yeah. I committed 2 weeks ago and then obviously had the wrong dates anyway. I love how Andy messaged us. He goes, sorry, boys, I can't come tonight. And Jared and I were
I was
like,
in the bath.
it's next week anyway. I know, I wasn't talking about that. We're not a smutty podcast.
We're not a smutty podcast, so we'll get to that a little bit later on. We've got some good stories to talk about today involving nightclubs, New Year's, family members. I had a family gathering on the weekend, which was...
Why don't we start with that? Let's kick that one off.
Yeah.
It's quite unique, to be honest, because it was my daughter's fourth birthday party, which is great. So you know how I've spoken about I've been going to childcare parties where parents from childcare have had to make small talk. Well, it was our turn. So it was actually our turn to host a birthday party, and it was a success. Apart from the fact that SA Power Networks decided to turn off all of the power in our street from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And I
All
had,
day?
I had a crack on Twitter, and I was direct with respect.
Yeah.
And
Was that on the Best Team Men Twitter or yours?
no, that was actually on mine. Wow. I said, it's so good. I really appreciate the fact that SA Power Networks are trying to inconvenience the least amount of people by turning the power off all day on a Sunday when everybody's home. And a guy I went to school with works for SA Power Networks. He always has a crack back at me, protecting SA Power Networks. Anyway, so we got through. That was okay. And we had Elsa come around to our house from Frozen. And
Yes.
She actually used to work at Nova, this Elsa. And I tell you what, man. What's I don't know.
Emily.
Hang on,
Emily.
No, it's Elsa.
So you so you can actually specifically go out and hire someone.
Yeah.
That comes.
I think she created that company, didn't she?
Yeah, mate, it's unbelievable.
Right.
So she came around as Elsa, and she took care of the kids for an hour and a half. So the parents rocked up to her house, and we said, hey, go to, that cafe I went with you, Mr. Pilgrim.
Pilgrims, yep.
We said, go to Mr. Pilgrim Cafe, say you for Rain's party, so the parents could go piss off for an hour and a half, have a coffee on us, and then the kids would be entertained.
Oh, amazing.
The only kid that cried was my kid.
Well, the crazy thing is, Elsa that arrived.
Yeah.
Like, to kids under 15, she's a massive superstar because she's been in movies.
Yeah, totally agree.
So, parents would be hiring this chick to come out and be Elsa,
She's
not
amazing.
knowing what sort of crazy movie star she is.
Yep.
Right.
Amazing, mate. So that was worth it. And Rain was pretty exhausted by the end of it. Lots of sugar going around. I was trying to watch the basketball on my phone because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing was what happened after that. So all the kids went home. Rain, my daughter, had a great time. And then Mum came round, and my sister and her 3 daughters. And my mum is full of gold. Like, Mum just pulls out the most random things ever. And so does my niece, Ashley. So there's 2 things I wanted to bring up. And straight away, I don't know if you guys go through this at the moment. Something weird happens in your life and you're like, I got to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah,
all the time.
Everything is content. So the first thing was I was out the back, and I've got 3 nieces, and then there's my daughter. The 4 girls were playing with a ball, throwing it around the back. And girls at the moment, at a young age, they don't like farts. It's simple. Like,
How dare they?
exactly.
They'll learn. They'll learn.
I'm offended by that. Like, I'm thinking that while at the moment I'm out of radio and I'm going through my skills, farting is really at the top of the list.
And as you get older, farts are the funniest thing in your life.
exactly right.
Absolutely. And by the amount of audio recordings you got on your phone there, 99% of them are farts.
Yeah, so I'm going to release a podcast via Ozcast Network, which is just farts of war.
I'm open to that. I am open to that for sure.
So out the back, my daughter was crying, and I said, "What's wrong, Rain?" And she's like, "Oh, Michaela farted." And Michaela, who's the middle niece, goes, "No, I didn't." And Ashley, who's the oldest one, who's at the moment into TikTok and like a young girl who's
how old are we talking?
She's 11.
11. Okay.
So, that is disgusting. As if you farted. So I've decided to have a Billy Madison moment, and I've gone, guys, I tell you what, at my house, if you fart, you're a legend. And they were looking at me going, what do you mean? I said, hey, check this out. And I've gone,
Sure it wasn't Gabs.
No, not this time. She hasn't listened to the last round yet.
Oh, thank God.
Refuses to.
I listened back to that round. I was like, oh my God. I was just waiting for someone to knock at my door, and I open up and Jared's there just with like a bag, and he's correct. I need somewhere to live.
Yeah, that still might happen. So I'm trying to educate these girls, and I'm like, you're a legend if you fart. So Ashley, the one who was most disgusted, is quite impressionable at the moment. And she turned around and she said, well, if that's the case, I farted earlier. So she's admitted to doing one, which I loved. But then what happened is we're sitting around, and I had a couple of beers, red Peronis. I love at the moment, like the red.
Really? You get back into that?
Amazing. And my sister came round, who's got 3 daughters, and she doesn't really drink much. But then I've just said, hey, have you tried Patron before? Here's 7 gins. So we're sitting around, and then Mum is there, who's just a beautiful person. But Mum has no filter at the moment. My mum has no filter. She's from country Victoria.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing nothing wrong with that at all. But my mum taught my daughter the old school version of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
Oh, no, she didn't. I was just talking about the other day.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Okay. Surely that happened. So she's
Let's do it now.
Yeah. No. So she's very, she's. It's not her fault. But what I found interesting, and she didn't realise the significance was, and I'm going to say a name to you. We need to be very careful how we say it. I think we need to be as professional as possible.
Sure.
But my mum was talking about the time that she had her first boyfriend, because we were talking about Ashley, my niece, and my mum, just acting normally, was like, yeah, back obviously when I was a young woman. And I said, oh, what, you went out with Jesus? And she said, no, my first boyfriend, Michael Hunt.
Oh.
And I went, sorry?
Hey, wait, what?
Yeah.
Come again?
Michael Hunt. Yeah. And I said, Mum, wait, what you're trying to say? Because at this point, I'd also had a few gins, and all the kids were outside. So it was me, my wife, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my mum.
And after a few gins, your filter goes out the window
my filter
as well.
goes straight away.
You start telling the truth.
That's exactly
whatever comes to mind.
That's right. I said, so, Mum, what was Mike Hunt like? And obviously didn't have a gap between them.
No, definitely not.
No. So I started then using it in every possible way. I'm not going to play the audio because I was very much removing the gap in the audio.
If you do want to pay $5.99 a month, you can certainly hear that audio behind the paywall.
But it got to every part of that conversation to even later on in the night, Mum was leaving and my mum, do you still keep in contact with Mike Hunt?
Was she just oblivious to it, or did she get it after
Oblivious until she got to the point where she said, I actually know what you're saying, you little shit. And she reminded me of the time that when I was a kid and I said the C-bomb to my grandpa and he was shocked.
Really?
So he took me to the Royal Hobart show and went to where all
It's a long drive from here.
went to where the farm animals were and went to where the cow was, lifted a cow's tail up and said, Jared, that's a...
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Yeah. I reckon my earliest memory of that word was with my brother, and obviously my dad was coaching footy from when I was very, very young, so I grew up around footy clubs. Everyone knows blokes playing footy can be a little bit crude and all that sort of stuff, so I heard it all from a very young age. My brother wasn't so much into the footy, so he wasn't hanging around the change rooms and all that sort of stuff. I went up to him one day and I was like, Ryan, go and call Dada. And he's like, what is it? I go, it means he's a good person. That's amazing.
And I watched him walk up to him. I was probably 100 metres away. I watched him walk up to him and call him. And he grabbed his arm, and to his credit, I think he was more of an education thing at that point. It wasn't a you're in trouble for saying it. Yeah,
I think you test words. Like as a kid,
absolutely.
I tested that with my mum once, and I called her a motherfucker, and she ran into me and said, "What did you say?" And I knew what had happened, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I said, "Mother trucker," and she didn't buy it.
I've got one like that. I get suspended from school because I went to Sacred Heart, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Middle school, Mitchell Park. Walked to the train station to get home down to Brighton, right? And there was a school nearby, which was just a regular high school, one that has adults going to
Hamilton or whatever.
Yeah, Hamilton. That's it. Yeah. And we'd all walk to the train station, all in our blazers and stuff, like all dressed up like that. And what would always happen is the Hamilton High guys would walk past and they would throw shit at us. Probably actual shit back then. I was waiting for that. Yeah. But like rocks and stuff from the side of the railway and lines and stuff. And we'd all yell back. And one day, like, I'm a quiet person back then. Like I was pretty reserved.
It's a full transformation.
Yeah, transition. And I've like just gotten all my energy together. I was like, I'm going to do something today. I'm going to be the hero. And I've yelled back, you motherfucker. Like literally like that nervous as. Then the trains come as I've said it, so we couldn't see what they were going to do. Yeah. And then we got on the train, we've zipped off home, right? And then the next day I get called to the office at school.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, well, this is weird. I don't never get called to the office. I walk in there and the principal was waiting for me. And he's like, come on in, Andrew. In my office. Yes. And I was like, oh, geez. Okay. All right. So I've walked in there, and as I've walked into his office, my mum's come in to pay some school fees, and he's like, "Oh, Andrew's mum's just arrived. This is amazing. You come into the office as well." And we sat down, and I was like, "What am I here for?" And he's like, "Well, I've had a phone call from the transit police. Apparently, there's been a complaint made about you swearing and calling someone a naughty word." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right." And he's like, "Well, say what you said." And I was like, I looked at Mum. She looked at me. She's like, "Well, say what you said." I was like, motherfucker. Anyway, I got suspended for 5 days.
5 days?
Oh, my God. It was for the rest of the week, so 4 days. And then I had Saturday detentions to do and all sorts of stuff. And they did on my birthday. Crazy, whatever. But what happened when the next day, so I've been suspended.
That's your
gone
coffee,
home.
by the way, as well.
Whose have I been drinking?
It's now an iced coffee.
Well, that's the one I've been drinking.
That's your coffee, Jared.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so that same day, luckily I haven't gone to the trade station because they were rolled up with gangs wanting to kill me.
Oh, no.
What?
Yeah, they had like shanks and stuff. Anyway, we
You're
move on.
doing shanks with a weird hand signal.
Yeah. Isn't that a shank? Okay, sorry. Something else I learned off that Checks in the Mail DVD I spoke about a little earlier.
How did your mum take it? Like, what was
disappointed? Like,
disappointed?
it was like her golden child had just become a gang member. It was not good. I got yelled at, and
It's you know what, one of the only times I've ever been in trouble with the police, not the transit police, the proper police,
The transit police.
I don't know. It just must be those guys that just are on the train.
they're your Weslow of the police community, I'd say.
They drive a security car, not a police car.
Instead of having a badge, they've got like a sash.
It was 1999.
Yeah.
Because the What's My Age Again?
Y2K is coming.
Yeah, I was a bit worried, the What's My Age Again film clip by Blink-182 just come out where they're running through the streets naked. And we were at one of my best mates' birthdays. It was warm, it was December, and we thought, we're going to recreate the What's My Age Again film clip.
That's awesome.
So there was, I think, 5 or 6 of us, and we decided to just start running down the street naked. So it's probably 10:30, 11 o'clock, running through the streets of Happy Valley naked, and we did it once.
You didn't get self-conscious about your old mate or anything?
Well, you're running, you're not looking at anyone else's.
Yeah, true.
But
I didn't ask if you were going to look at theirs.
So true. So we
Well, I was looking at everyone else's, so I was fine.
we did it once. We thought, this is hilarious. Like we're 15 or whatever it was, and this is funny as. Did it a second time, but this is great. Anyway, rallied up a few more troops. Go on, do it, you'll love it. I reckon it was on the third one. We're running back up to the house, and some blue and red lights started going.
Really?
Yeah, so we've darted off into the front yards of different people's houses. Which
makes it better.
So we're school. We're hiding behind walls. Anyway, we got to the conclusion that, all right, they're going to find us. We might as well just say, we walked hands out, thought, all right, we'll give ourselves up. And I was one of those guys, I wasn't confident enough and witty enough, and the other guys that got caught gave fake names, fake numbers. And I couldn't think of anything quick enough, so I gave my full name, my full number. And it got to a point where later in the night I was stressing so hard about it that I thought, I've got to come clean with Mum and Dad here. So I rang them, and it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I said, can you guys come and get me, please? I need to tell you something. So Mum's come and got me. Pretty quiet drive home. I hadn't told her yet. So we got home.
Where did she pick you up from?
It was like a 5-minute drive from our house. So it wasn't too bad. And we finally get home, and she goes, all right. She sits me down. She goes, okay, what's up? And I said, the cops got me for streaking last night. And I said, I just wanted to be the one to tell you before they rang you and told you. And so her version of the story is she sort of said, come on, that's not good enough. I can't believe you're in trouble with the police, blah, blah, blah. Now go to bed. And as soon as I turned around and go to bed, she pissed herself laughing. She thought it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. And to this day, the cops still haven't rang. So,
really?
No. So I did myself in.
So you still get really nervous driving next to cop cars thinking, this could be my time that they arrest me.
That's right. Yeah. So, but I just thought it was quite funny that Mum put on a bit of a front that she was disappointed, but then
thought you were a bloody hero.
That's right. Thought it was hilarious. But she did say, I'm glad you got done for that and not break and enter or,
Well, I mean, she could have turned around and said, did you look at anyone else's?
How'd you compare?
Yeah, that you know your mate Tony. What do you reckon about him?
When you actually go through, you think about you're comfortable streaking, and this is reminding me of something I spoke about last week, and that was the guy who said the best memory of me working it over was when I pushed one of my nuts up against the door.
Good
But
times.
We did that heaps at the radio station.
I'm glad you said at the radio station.
No,
then.
but guys just do that. But we sometimes, there's things that go on in radio stations that you can't translate into, like if you go work at a bank or something like that.
Well, I mean, in saying that, Rosie wasn't a fan of me doing it.
It's like, imagine working at a bank, Jared. Why are you pushing your testicles up against Tele5?
Why not?
David from Home Loans doesn't appreciate it.
But Larry does.
Why is
Larry from Home Finance.
Well, I mean, Larry, you can't access security footage on the weekend. Sorry, mate. We've had bosses who have actually had done things that probably wouldn't fly in other businesses. And I thought about this morning.
But isn't it funny how a different industry makes it okay?
Mate, we had a boss who thought that bring your dog to work day was every day.
Yeah, and the day that I quit, that bog.
I could call him a bog. The bog.
Yeah. Well, he barked at me and went at me when I was walking into this gentleman's office to quit. Because he knew the anger, I guess.
Mate,
was inside me.
it is the weirdest thing ever. So so I think what I've started loving to do on this podcast is a bit of role play, and I think it works really well.
Well, we came up with something that every time we do a role play, Andy must play the third person.
Exactly.
I'm Lyndon.
Exactly. There he is. Okay, so Andy, I think Lyndon should be our boss's name. Okay,
right.
So who are you?
I'm Lyndon.
Okay, great, Lyndon. Now, Matty, you need to be...
sorry, how many years ago is this?
This is
This
is recently, okay?
Yeah. I'm Lyndon.
Matty, you are going to be me.
I'm me.
Okay.
Wait, Jared. I'm Jared.
Yeah, you're Jared.
Okay.
So, Lyndon, the boss, you need to deliver Matty, who's playing Jared, some pretty difficult news about what's going on in their job. But this is a really important meeting where you need to have 100% attention and focus here, because this is news you're not going to like very much. So I think you should deliver the news, please. Lyndon, the boss, to Jared, the employee.
Jared, I really appreciate what you do for this business, but I've got some really important news to give you.
Oh, right. Yep, I'm listening. What was that?
Oh, gee, sorry, it's my stomach.
So that noise was us getting important meetings, and the dog started arcing up in the closed office.
Yeah, and then you would turn around the corner after the meeting and there'd be a shit on the ground. Like, what a perfect way to end that meeting than stepping in a pile of crap.
What sort of dog was it?
You're eating your lunch and you're like, hey, I get it. Having a dog is awesome.
Yeah.
But not at work while you're sitting there just going,
No.
Oh, and I didn't bring my de-linter today because now I'm covered in fur. Golden Retriever.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Not my dog.
Not yours.
I would find hair in the weirdest places in my studio, and it wasn't mine. Or anyone else that I brought into the studio, that's what I'm saying. It was
take your
dog
girlfriend,
hair.
you take your girlfriend in there and she's like, what's this blonde hair doing here?
It's the dog.
Like, imagine trying to
Is that what you
explain
call that?
Yeah, she really is.
Anyway.
We've and I think I'm at a point of going through my 7 or 8 stages of grief where each week I should bring a different story about some weird people we've worked with,
Love
weird
that.
experiences. We've had some weird parties, like listener parties.
Oh, yeah, the all-male one. Remember that?
What?
With the one that was just all males.
Was I at that one?
Yeah, instead of an Adelaide party where it's all ladies.
I think it was
Ada blokes or something.
Adelaide.
Oh, so not checks in the mail.
No, that was the party after. Back at Brian's house. Anyway. No,
I'm Lyndon.
No, it was like Jared and I walked over there to the party and we went to it and went, this is the most uncomfortable party that everyone's ever been to.
Mate, I don't know if Andy...
And the poor female Casanovas that were there.
Oh, wait, so they were the only females there?
Yes.
It was at the Stag.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say
Makes sense.
Oh, no,
I don't know. I just felt like...
Well, because I had a horrific moment. I had to get on stage because basically what happened was the people who were supposed to host it, they couldn't be asked doing it because they wanted to be backstage in the green room and stay away from meeting the listeners, which is the whole point of the OB. So I actually had to MC, and I love doing it. So got on stage and basically stood up there, and I was talking on stage, and it's going to sound like I made this up, but I was just having a laugh with people. I like to do it like quite conversational, and you've just remembered what happened.
I can't wait. I haven't heard this, so I'm looking
I was
forward to
standing on stage, and because it's an all blokes party, you can have a bit of fun. And say, oh, it looks like you haven't dressed up for the night.
Yeah.
Oh, far out, mate. What are you wearing thongs for? Nice mullet. Oh, what are you wearing a bloody face mask for? And Andy, what did the guy say?
I've got cancer?
Yep.
Is that what they, that's what they said,
Sure
wasn't it?
did.
Yeah.
So you said to him,
What do you got a face mask on for? And because I had no idea, and that was what he said. And
oh boy.
oh my God.
I mean, bad choice of words here, but it killed the room.
Yeah, it was, mate, it was horrific. So I went, look, we're fine. I went and spoke to him and said, mate, I've got no idea. And he laughed it off.
Right.
But, we've had listener parties where it's just awkward.
And you wonder why I get drunk at them.
Yes. Well, we've done some like message exchanges this week of old school photos, which have been amazing. And we had one at one of our listener parties that we've spoken about when you went downstairs at the Grand and grabbed the mic off Matty and said,
"G'day, Melbourne."
What up, Melbourne?
Good times.
And then he went to the bar to grab us 3 vodkas and he came back with probably not
3
even
empty
any.
glasses.
The old shaker room.
But the other photo that you sent through was of New Year's Eve.
Oh,
and you had a full vodka bottle in your mouth and you were working.
Yeah, I found a hard drive full of old photos from years back, right? So this was like maybe third year into working at Nova.
Yep.
And this is where it was New Year's Eve. Everything was done locally, whereas now it's just all automated, right? So New Year's Eve, as soon as someone leaves at 6 o'clock, say the last local shift, it's all automated from, say, Sydney. Right.
Can I just preface this very quickly by saying when you do the rosters, and I managed a lot of the rosters, the most difficult conversation to have with people that I hated doing was, okay, guys, someone has to work Christmas Day, someone has to work New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. And I tried to go, look, here's the deal. If you work Christmas Day, you don't have to work New Year's. Pick one.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do either of them, but you send the rosters out and you're like, hey, get in early. And it's fucked because I think, are people going to be, getting around the radio at 6 o'clock on Christmas morning going, oh, guys, I mean, best present is listening to Nova this morning. Let's all get around and listen.
I mean, the kids won't want to listen to anything else apart from Nova.
No, exactly. Or is it on New Year's Eve? Now, Nova have previously done really well when they do countdowns and stuff, but send it round as a national thing. Like, no one's going to be locked into they'll be listening to the radio, but it doesn't have to be a localised thing. So it was a really hard thing to put you guys in that position.
Yeah, so this is back when we had music director, we had PD, we had an assistant PD. Like, they all had their own roles.
It was all local.
Yeah, it was all local, right? So my job on New Year's Eve was to arrive there around about, say, 4 o'clock, I think it was, and I would panel until midnight. And then at midnight, network would take over and play. I think back then it might even be the mixes that I'd made for them anyway. I just want to put that one in there.
Yeah, I heard that. Definitely.
I used to DJ around the place.
Job interview.
In the grand.
So what did you think of last time?
Anyway, I'm on OnlyFans now, but anyway.
DJ David, Andy Martin.
Did you have one of those like hip hop horns? Like,
all the time.
The DJ Andy.
Yeah, it was because the mixing was that bad back then. Yeah, hang on, here we go. Andy's oh my god. But anyway, that was me DJing back in the day. 2 things at once.
That's
whatever.
why that vodka bottle's here.
So all I had to do was literally sit there, monitor what was going on, because I think back then the ads played locally, but they played automatically, right?
Yeah.
So all I had to do was roll in there, make sure everything went sweet at midnight, make sure the network started at midnight, and happy days, I could go off and do whatever I need to on New Year's Eve. And because I was already in the city, I could go, anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to buy a bottle of vodka, bring one along, get the party started early, and then head out afterwards. Because, like a lot of people are, they stay for midnight, they go to the fireworks, and then they sort of bail if they don't go off to a club they've already pre-planned to get into or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so started off fine. I was looking at the vodka bottle at the other side of the studio.
Very early in the time of the photo that you sent.
Yeah. So the photo has, I think it was 8:20.
Yeah. Vodka was almost gone.
Yeah, I was just swigging it straight out of the bottle. I didn't even bother. I mean, it was Black Label, so, I had stepped it up a notch. I used all the money I earned that month to buy that one bottle. So they paid really well back then. And I was obviously starting to get a bit tipsy. What's that song?
J-Quan,
Tipsy.
yeah. What's that song? Tipsy. Yeah.
There you go. All right. And by the time it got to about 11 o'clock, I was like, cool, no worries. I'm pretty blind right now, but I'm good. I operate pretty well with this sort of stuff because I was working with it every other week. I know it like the back of my hand. And I was like, I've got an hour. Okay, I've got an hour. The plan is to make sure at 10 minutes to, I listened to what was coming in from Sydney to make sure it started at midnight because they're a half an hour ahead. And happy days. I looked down. My brain must have blacked out for a bit. I started looking at YouTube. That hour went pretty quick, right? So it got to, I think it was like 11:55. And I'm like, okay, cool. 11:55, sweet as. It's going to start at midnight. Oh, crap. Hang on a minute. There's no countdown. Oh. So I've messaged the PD. He's overseas somewhere. So he wouldn't get back to me. So I've messaged the APD who was DJing at Rocket Bar, right? And he's like, yeah, okay. See if you can find one yourself. And I was like, it's like,
just turn them off.
What? 10 minutes to, I've got to find a countdown, right? So I found one in the system, and then I didn't listen to it until like 5 minutes to, so over this couple of minutes. And then it's like 3, 2, 1, happy 1998. And I was like, oh shit, I can't use that. What am I going to do? YouTube. So I found the shittest YouTube countdown I could find because, most of them got ads. They've all got like, audio frog or, whatever over the top of it, whoever's actually owns the property, right? So I found one shitty one and I was like, okay, cool. I've got my Vox Pro, which is what I was going to play it through. I'm not really too familiar with the Vox Pro and the way that it operates through the mixing desk, but I assume that if I press play on it, that it should go to air, right? That's how it sort of rolls. So I'm counting down. Cool. I've then looked at my phone. Britney Spears, Toxic starts playing, and I knew that was the last song, right? That was the last song. Okay, I look down, and I look up, and it's 12:01, right? And I was like, oh, fuck. So then I've stopped Britney Spears. I've hit play on the countdown, because I was like, well, I was going to have to play at some point, right? And I've hit play, but I haven't turned Vox Pro on the mixing desk on. I've just pressed play on Vox Pro, so it's counting down. I'm like, it's dead air at the moment. What's going on? And then I've gone, oh shit. Okay, all right. I think I've got a crowd noise, like celebrating in the system. That's cool. And so I played that. See this. And then I play off the mixes. I'm like, gee, that really fucked up. And I'm pretty hammered. And then so I then didn't tell anyone. Went off to the club to meet the APD, and then ended up at a shisha bar with him for 2 hours. That's weird. Didn't mention it to him then either, and then moved on. But then one of the girls from work came to me and said, Andy, what happened on New Year's Eve last weekend? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, all the family got into the lounge room. We had it on Nova, and we're waiting for the countdown so we can do the countdown. And everyone was like, hey, it's past midnight. The song's still going. And then all of a sudden, Britney Spears stopped. It was dead air for about 12 seconds, and then it went, and then music played, and then that was it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was me. That was a vodka speaking. And that's what happened there. So if you want to check out that photo, that's on all the socials at Best Team Men.
Yeah. What are our socials again?
At Best Team Men on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
And Facebook.
And that was the longest story ever, and we have to finish this episode now.
No, I just need to go pay for my parking, though.
All right.
Yeah, paid. Yeah, that quick. Your story made me think about nightclubs, because obviously we've all worked in nightclubs. You guys more aggressively and successfully than I have. But it not aggressively worked in nightclubs.
No, there was a few nights.
Come to a fucking night.
Yeah, I was pretty hung and went in there. Pretty angry.
Jeepers. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. No, actual hung. Yep.
Yeah. So, do you guys have a time of your life where you enjoyed going out the most? I'll tell you what. This morning I was at the gym and I was listening to music, and a song came on which reminded me of going out back like a decade ago.
Yeah.
So for me, it was at Heaven, and it was going to Time Warp on Wednesday nights. And I love that because it's fun, it felt safe, and it was just a really happy, positive environment.
Just a good time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I used to actually get up on the podiums and dance. Because what would happen is you'd go with... you'd actually go with your mates and you'd have... Thank God we're not filming this today. You know, if you were first there, we'd like want you to be first in, so you get your 2-for-1 base spirits or whatever. So you load up really
vodka
quickly.
raspberries.
Yeah, you have pre-drinks at a mate's house. So by the time it gets to about 8:30, you're blind and you're like, awesome. I just need to enjoy the night now. So I don't know if anyone who's listening has never been to Time Warp before. It was a retro night, and it had like a cast of characters. Like Captain Kirk was there, Jackie J, Barbarella, and what would happen is they'd have cheerleader like dancers, and then you would be standing at Heaven, which was a nightclub, which was big. It had an R&B room, but Heaven was great. And then the catchphrase was, "Does anybody know what time it is?"
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody yelled out, "It's Time Warp time!" But the thing that made me think about that was, first of all, I won a carton of cruises singing karaoke at Time Warp once. I sang
stage.
Elton John Crocodile Rock.
Incredible.
Amazing. And I was like a hero for the night. I'm like, what am I going to do with these watermelon cruises? Drink it!
And then straight back on the podium. There we go.
Mate, it was amazing. You guys obviously have been there before. The thing which...
Not on the podium.
No, but what made me laugh is, you know, if you listen to hip-hop now, there's a real kind of sound of hip-hop where it's sitting at the moment, which is different to back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. The funniest thing about Time Warp is that you can go from someone like me who's singing Crocodile Rock on stage, or, you know, steps 5, 6, 7, 8, or you're lining up doing the Nut Bush and you're thinking, this is amazing. But as soon as Gangsta's Paradise comes on, you think you are the biggest rap gangster ever. And you're going, come on, Barbie, let's go party, straight into As I Walk Through Them, and you've got your hand in the air like a bee rabbit. And it's the weirdest mix.
Bit of Eminem, Lose Yourself.
Lose Yourself is the one. Yeah. I remember playing in some commercial places, and same sort of deal. I reckon I played at Metro Retro at the Alma one Saturday night, and it was literally like, "Come on, Eileen," to like into, you know, go for it.
Yeah, great.
into Lose Yourself.
Oh man!
And you would see it would almost be like. It transformed, the venue transformed from a scene out of The Wedding Singer into a scene out of like downtown Detroit into like a rap battle.
Then straight back into Nutbush City Limits.
That's right, yeah.
You felt,
Tina Turner.
Yeah. You felt so proud to know all the words to Wanna Be and then Gangsta's Paradise.
Yeah. I reckon my favourite thing was when you would play a song like that, and I reckon we used to have some circumstances like that when we'd play something and people would come up to us and they'd be like, "What the fuck is this, man? Why are you playing this?" And then 30 seconds later they're out on the dance floor singing along to it.
Yeah, they used to have it down at the Seaford Tavern.
Friday night.
Yeah, man.
What a throwback.
Yeah. I'd be emceeing there. Luckily I didn't DJ, so I could just move my head when the glasses get thrown in the DJ box. Probably song 2, Blur.
Yeah.
Was a massive one there. Yeah. Also, probably one of the last couple of songs, Horses, of course.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Horses, of course. One of the Mr. Ed
you didn't know that one?
Horses, of course.
So what was your best time of going out where you had if you walk now, Matty, you still work on like Hindley Street a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel
and
safe
also in the
walking down
clubs.
there a lot.
Yeah,
but it's different now.
It is so different. Yeah. Do you know what? I've got Apple Music on my phone, and every time I plug it into my car, it just starts playing stuff from music that I'd bought from whenever I had an Apple account. Yeah. And it goes back to some of those times, and some of the songs that come on take me back. And I've actually been, driving recently thinking, fuck, this actually takes me back to 2010, 2011, which, not that, it's 10 years ago. But,
it is.
It's funny that you bring that up because I've been experiencing that nostalgia lately.
Oh, same here, guys.
But where did you used to go out?
Well, I've been converting all my music to MP3 like the last couple of weeks, getting ready for a wedding in the next few weeks. Yeah. So the same thing has been happening where I'm hearing songs I haven't heard for in like 12, 15 years, blowing my mind, and my head my eyes rolling back thinking about the good old days. Yeah. For me, the two places were Electric Circus Friday nights with One Love. Yep. Only because we didn't pay for much there. And you just walk straight through.
I ever went there.
Huge. Nice. 4 a.m. I'll be getting ready for Nova at 6. I'll be there at 4. Crazy time. PD was there. And
Well, have I told you one night when, did I tell you when I got the first redundancy from my position.
No.
When I was supposed to work the Saturday morning, and all I had to do was panel. There was nothing else I had to do, right? It was just manually panel the music and the ads for a few hours on the Saturday morning. And Friday night, One Love was on. Fuck yeah, let's get out and party. Anyway, I've rolled in there at like 1 a.m. with Relax and all these other guys. What? Sorry. Sorry. With all these other...
Take that bottle of vodka away from you, man.
Yeah, you need to move those Bernard Tomic wines away.
At that point. So rolled in there with Relax and party. Then as I'm walking towards one of the walls of the club, there was like 5 people lined up on the wall. And it was the music director, the APD of the station, and a few other staff. And they're looking at me, and they're like, "Hey, Andy, are you starting work in a few hours?" And I'm like, "No, I'm all good. I'm all good."
Oh, no.
And
your drunk voice.
Oh, no, I'm all good, guys. Sweet ass, let's do this. You guys want a party? And the APD goes, "No, guys, it's all right. I know Andy. He actually performs better like this." And then
What a glowing endorsement.
Yeah. And anyway, so I missed my alarm and it was heaps late and then got in heaps of trouble and got sacked. But because I didn't roll up.
Still Electric Circus.
Yeah, so One Love Electric Circus. And we are, of course, on the Ozcast Network replaying all of the music from the One Love radio series as well on the music channel there with Relax. But side note, the other one was Flashdance. So Time Warp converted over to Flashdance when it went to HQ and the change in sort of music management, I guess you call it. And because I used to get along so well with everyone there and, part of Fresh, so I could literally just walk anywhere in the club, essentially. I'd go up in the booth with the Novatech guys and do some lighting and hang around there and drop some drinks on the gear.
Always working.
Anyway, so every Wednesday night I'll be sitting there and this one Wednesday night, I'm sitting there looking at the TV screens everywhere. So you know how they just put screens fucking everywhere, right? Yeah. And all I see written across it in a slider was Andy's hung like a donkey. And I was on all the screens at like 2 a.m. in the morning at Flashdance. It was the greatest. Oh, absolutely. And that was probably the peak time of my life.
Yeah, well, times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have.
I reckon my peak moment was it's pretty hard to go past a packed Grand on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Lineups
Easily.
went to the Jetty, didn't they?
Yeah, especially long weekends. Like if you didn't get there before 8, I reckon, you were hanging out at the Jetty. You might as well brought a fishing rod.
I remember one night I drank nearly a whole bottle of coffee-flavoured Patron, went to the Sunday night of the Grand, and then ended up with all the guys from Bondi Rescue and partied with them all night. Random as best night ever.
Very random. Fuck, man. But it was good. Like you could go there.
I'm pretty sure one of them was that guy that used to be on Hey Dad. Or whatever that guy.
No, that's a different story. You're talking Home and Away.
That's not Nudge? Okay. No, different guy. Yeah.
Arthur MacArthur.
Yeah, that Dale Clark or Ryan Clark or whatever his name is.
Sam from Home and Away.
Yeah, that guy. And then some old bloke.
The guy from Hey Dad.
Yeah, from Hey Dad. Anyway, so we had a VCR. We put the VCR in and then it blew up and that was the end of the season.
You were going to tell us a story about going overseas.
Yeah,
and it wasn't in Port Lincoln.
No, it wasn't in Port Lincoln. I actually needed my passport. So I was playing in Bali and it was only, I think, a week or 2 weeks after my wedding. So it wasn't actually that long ago. So I thought,
did you go on a honeymoon after your wedding?
Touchy. We were meant to go this year in April, but coronavirus flattened that one out. So
Andy, you're a star.
Is this the right one?
Andy, you're a star. So going to Bali a couple of weeks after the wedding, I thought, well, why not take Kira? And we can use it as a bit of a
honeymoon.
Almost a honeymoon, but it wasn't officially the honeymoon.
It's a honeymoon that you can write off on tax.
That's right. Yeah. So we were only there for 3 days, 3 nights or whatever it was. And all of mine was paid for, so all I had to do was pay for her flights. And the Saturday night, so I got in on the Friday night. The Saturday was, I booked in for a full day tattoo sit, which was 6 or 7 hours. So I went and did that, and we were lucky that some of our friends were actually already over there just on a separate holiday. It was purely by chance. And they came, while I was getting my tattoo, they came and got Kira, and they all just went to the bar. So they drank all day during the day. About 6 o'clock,
I finished my tattoo, and Jay, who...
Can I ask, sorry, what do you do during a full day tattoo sit? You just literally just sit there?
Yeah, you just sit there, or you just watch a bit of YouTube on your phone, take your headphones and just watch some Netflix and stuff like that. Yeah,
what do you get for 6 hours? Is it like full sleeve or?
No, so it's probably a quarter of a sleeve. So it's either the outside or the inside of your forearm.
I didn't know you were a triad. You're tattooed everywhere apart from your wrists.
Pretty much. No, they're tattooed. So,
right, okay. And how do you also know, because you don't live in Bali, that you're going to a good tattoo artist that isn't going to kill you?
Recommendations of people that have been there, and you.
So it's proper tattoo, not like bamboo.
That's
tattoo.
right. Yeah. It's proper Western
bamboo
tattoo.
tattoo.
Like
they tap the bamboo. It's similar. Similar style.
Yeah, but permanent.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, continue.
That's right. So I finished the tattoo and
sorry, Andy and I ruined every one of your stories.
I know. It's great.
We're going to sit back, tell us your boring story.
So what is it? Bali got tattooed. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, sorry, you were sitting there.
Yeah, so I got out of my tattoo about 6, and at that stage, Kira and my mates had come back and they were ticking. Like they'd been sitting in a bar all day. Seminyak, yep. We were staying and I was playing in Kuta. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Is that where Potato Head is?
Yeah.
Kuta's like the main strip where a lot of crime happens.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So walk out of the tattoo place. Jay says, let's go down to this beach bar. I know that it's happy hour right now and we can get 2-for-1 cocktails. So my body has just gone through some immense shock.
Cling wrap on your arm.
Cling wrap on my arm. Yep. And they start bringing out, it's 2-for-1 cocktails. And these things taste like lolly water. So
and what about the drinks?
Yeah. I find it very hard to tell a story.
So not going to be funny anymore. No. These are the greatest.
Someone had to say it.
Lolly water?
Yeah, so we're drinking these cocktails 2-for-1 and we're smacking them. They're going down that easy.
Don't say smacking them.
There's definitely petrol in it as well. It's ethanol. It's straight ethanol.
Yeah.
And we go back to their villa and they pull out a bottle of gin. And by this time, I'm blind. Absolutely blind.
Are you in control of yourself?
At this stage, but I'm teetering.
Okay.
And Kira's going real well as well because she's drinking the whole time I was getting tattooed. So she's got 5 hours on me. It got to about 10:30 that night on the Saturday night. I'm playing at 1. Right, and
it's about that time when you look at your clock at shit. I got to last till 1, and then I got to actual DJ.
Pretty much, and I was on the verge of messaging my manager saying, "I'm not playing. Can you please?" They've flown me over, but I'm not going to play. And
that would have gone down well,
real well. So I got to 10:30, and I was like, "I've got to go." Like I was wearing a singlet and just these crap board shorts. And
so you were dressed for the occasion. I was dressed for the occasion.
Bali. Yeah, I look like one of the locals. And at that stage, Kira had done the worst thing possible. She'd laid down. All right, so she's never getting back up. No. Yeah. So I got to 10:30 and I'm shaking her and I'm like, we've got to go. We have to go. I've got to go get ready. I'm about to play a set internationally.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't wake up. So I went, all right, I'm going to leave you here.
Oh, what a honeymoon.
Yeah, maybe that's why I haven't gone on a honeymoon.
That's right, yeah. Jumped in a cab in Seminyak, and if anyone has been
shit.
to... Yeah, they're shit. But if anyone's been to Bali and tried to get from Seminyak to Kuta at 10:30 on a Saturday night...
Did you pick the right cab, though? Because you know how
Bluebird?
there's two Bluebirds. There's a dodgy one in the middle.
Bluebird, and then there's Blue Biro, which has the exact same font, but the D is an O.
And I reckon it still has a bird on the logo.
100%. Yeah, so they do that so they can rip you off.
And they never actually have a meter in the car.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I didn't know. I was too incoherent.
That's right.
It takes about an hour to get from Seminyak to Kuta.
Yes.
And it's a 5-kilometre drive.
You're better walking along the beach.
Should have walked, but I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah. I passed out in the cab, and he did the right thing. So he actually woke me up when I got to the hotel.
Yeah.
And all was good. I paid him the money. Walk into the hotel, I'm stumbling in. By this stage, you know when you just want to go to sleep?
Yes.
You've had enough.
Yep.
During Andy's stories.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Back next week.
I walk through the lobby and I get to the elevator and there's just a guy, a little Balinese guy standing at the elevator.
Yeah.
And he goes, Fresh Til Death. I went, yep. This is 11:30, mind you. I don't play till 1.
We don't really do accents on this podcast.
Yeah, especially racist ones.
No, it's a fresh till death.
When you realise you're in Shanghai.
yeah. Anyway, he called me by name.
Yeah.
And it's 11:30, and he goes, "I'm here to take you to the club."
Yeah.
I said, "Nah, mate, I'm not. I'm not ready yet." I said, "Let me go upstairs, grab my USB, my headphones. I'll get changed, and I'll come back down, and we'll go over." Yeah, cool. The next thing I remember is a banging on my door.
Yeah.
And my phone ringing in my room, and I woke up and I look at the clock, and it was 12:50.
Oh, shit.
So I'd actually fallen asleep for an hour and 20 odd minutes. And I walked down, and he's still waiting there for me, this guy. And he takes me to the club, and he walks me into this like little green room thing, and there's my rider, which is a bottle of vodka and beers and this and that. And he goes, "You want a drink?" I said, "No." I definitely don't want to drink. Played my set. It was the hardest set I've ever had to play because I started getting hungover.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, during the middle of it. And
which is actually quite good for the marketing of your name.
Yes.
Fresh till death.
Yes. It was just the natural progression I went through.
Really committed to the brand.
Yeah, really are. Finished the set, and then I left. I like, nah.
Did you go check on your dead missus at all?
I fulfilled my duty. This is where it gets interesting. So I fulfilled my duty to play my set, walked back to the hotel, and opened the door to my hotel room, and Kira was in the bed.
Oh.
How did she get there?
She doesn't remember. She doesn't remember getting from Seminyak to Kuta. But what's worse is she didn't have a key to the hotel room. So she went to the front desk and said, I'm staying in room blah, blah, blah.
Fresh or death wife.
Can you let me in? And they've let her in with no ID, no card. And I was like, who else are you letting into people's
Welcome
rooms?
to Bali, my friends.
Yeah, that's so true. And then I woke up to WhatsApp messages from my manager saying, "Are you alive?
Yeah.
The venue and the promoters are very worried about you and think that you might be in trouble." I said, "No, I'm good." Yeah.
Have you been back since?
Not since. They've never rebooked me. And then I copped a scathing email saying, "We booked this guy to come and he's treating it as a holiday and blah, blah, blah." So,
you're going to bloody Bali to
What do
DJ.
you
What
expect?
else? Yeah.
I have something similar. Do you want to hear it, or you wait till next week?
No.
So I had been booked to do the Highlander. It was around Christmas time again.
Oh,
right?
the Fightlander.
Yeah, the Fightlander, right?
I did the Highlander. It was one of my first MC gigs.
What was it?
Yeah, because Paul Curran was unavailable.
Yeah.
You laugh, but that's
then
true.
you weren't available, and then they called Paul Curran's, what do I call myself?
Poor man's Paul Curran.
Poor man's Paul Curran, and he's available.
Remember the ads? We had to go into a studio and go, the Highlander.
Yeah, no, was that with Ben Ford and stuff?
Ben Ford, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'd been booked.
Peter Ford's brother.
Yeah. Peter Ford's brother.
Yeah, is he talking to you still?
Peter Ford blocked me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, blocker. Anyway, so I've been booked to do the Highlander, just emceeing, right? Yeah. That's all I had to do. There's no
Good
DJing
spot.
involved.
They got packed.
Yeah, it was busy. It was busy. Rough.
Yeah, very
Good
rough.
thing getting to know the security guards.
Don't play the wrong song.
Yeah.
I reckon that the reason why it's on the top of a hill is because you're so drunk you can walk home and just get pushed with the hill.
roll.
Anyway, just roll on. So I've been booked to the gig, and I remember a radio counterpart that I used to live with. Okay, we went out beforehand and had a few
very
beers.
official term.
It really is. I don't want to get into it. Anyway, so
Radio counterpart.
not friend.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, work colleague.
Partner.
Kind of.
So we've gone out for some reason beforehand. Got on the gear. The beers. Trust. No, I do mean beers. I don't know why I said that. I think it's because of your Bali story. Anyway. All right. Yeah.
You can't edit that. You said that so
Anyway.
I said the wrong thing.
Anyway. So we've gone out. I think it was actually a work function we've gone to, right? It was like some like Friday night beers or something like that.
Friday night beers.
I love how a work function is just Friday night beers.
I love that you're
What are you
trying
doing this
to
Friday night?
recover.
I just got a work function, Friday night beers. Anyway, we've got like I think I've kind of said in the past about when I go to gigs, I'm usually pretty good when I have a couple beforehand.
Yeah.
And so we've rolled up to the place. It was windy, it was rainy, and my counterpart had like a big woolen jumper on. They wouldn't let him in. It was one of those ugly sweaters, but it was an actual ugly sweater.
Yep.
Super ugly, right? They wanted it off. They didn't want him in the place with wearing that. So he ended up staying outside because he didn't want to give in on the sweater. Yeah. Right. And I've gone in, and then I've gone, Andy, you're actually judging the this week's zoo competition beforehand, right? And I've gone, okay, cool.
Those zoo competitions, fuck me.
Yeah, and anyway, so I'm pretty hammered right now, right? And it was getting to the point where the hangover was starting to come in, like what you went through. Yeah. And so I've gone in there. We've gone upstairs to some bit where you sit and you look down on the stage, and then they do their thing, and you give them a rating, right? And
which is such a weird concept because
it is, isn't it?
All of those people in the zoo modelling contest should have been told beforehand, this is not Miss Universe. No. Like, it's actually quite degrading.
Well, Yaz, my future wife, used to be one of them.
Yeah, it's degrading.
Yeah, you know.
Because you're literally like, we're going to judge you on who's the hottest.
Yeah, and then good luck afterwards where you've got to walk around the nightclub and not expect to get hit on by everyone.
Well, I had a bit of a history of doing this because I did Miss Nude Australia. I was a judge on that.
Hitting on
so did I. Well, I was a DJ. Anyway, so I'm pretty happy because I'm hammered and I've just realised I don't really have to work for a bit because I'm sitting here voting on women walking on stage, right? So I've done that. Obviously, it started off, I was, the first couple I was like, 6 out of 10, trying to be like real with it. And by the end of it, I'd had a few bloody Jack Daniels, and all of a sudden I'm giving 11 out of 10s and stuff and saying, you guys should really, you guys are so smart and beautiful and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, and then
started giving the security guard scores.
So then they're like, Andy, it's time for you to start emceeing. Let's get this party started. So the DJ starts up, and I'm pretty up there, right, with the drinking at the time. So I'm happy, I'm emceeing, all good. And then all of a sudden I realised I've got a bottle of Jack's in my hand. And I'm like, what, this is weird? Why have I got a bottle of Jack's in my hand? I'm emceeing the stage right now. And then I remember emceeing, 2 for 1 vodkas for midnight, whatever the thing I was saying. And then I've gone down, hooked up with some chick while swigging the bottle of Jack Daniels, right?
Living.
Yeah, just and then I was like, what's up, Melbourne? Thinking that I was touring. And then, anyway, the night finishes. I lost the crowd at some point because I was pretty hammered. I think they said, Andy, maybe chill out a bit. We'll take the mic off you. And then I've left. And then the promoter that booked me for that rings me on the Tuesday, and he's like, mate, just had a conversation with the venue manager and stuff about what happened on the weekend. I was like, oh, what happened on the weekend? They have a good time? And they're like, well, they know you did. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, they just don't think that it's appropriate to be hooking up with clientele with a bottle of Jack's in your hand while emceeing. So they're no longer going to book you. And I think, maybe the entertainment company might give it a bit of a rest with the booking of you for the near future. And I was like, okay. No worries. And never worked there again.
Geez, you had a good night.
I did. I really did. And I don't know where the bottle of Jack's came from. I really don't. Because what, did I go behind the bar and get it?
Probably.
Yeah. You don't go up to the bar person.
Was it a prize for Mr. Zoo?
Yeah, I had a bit of a history of that as well, like drinking the prizes before they went out. It's like at the Alma, Thursday nights, you did the R&B night a few gigs, didn't you?
I think
on
so.
Thursday nights?
Yeah.
Did you DJ at all?
As well.
Yeah, I emceed a few of them, and it was obviously dead because it just never worked.
Yeah, it's basically every gig that I did.
But I drank all the drink cards, and I remember you give one drink card, but even though it was 2 for 1 Alizé and whatever
lemonade or whatever,
lemonade. So I was just sculling that and drinking all the drink cards. Absolutely, and then walk home.
Oh God! I've loved this round because we've all revealed a fair bit about ourselves. And next, if I get the confidence, I might next round tell you about my international experience of being hungover, which it's a very touchy subject, but it involved a very humid part of the world and me vomiting a lot before a pretty important event. We can get
story,
to that,
guys. So we don't need to listen in next week.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it, which I kind of already have.
Okay.
Port Pirates are playing this weekend. They are playing Saturday at 7:00 at home. Apparently, we're going to be there. There's a chance that
I'm going.
You're going?
I'll go.
Okay, so I'll be there a bit late, but I'll be there.
You're still becoming a bit...
No, I've got to do something for the Adelaide Film Festival, and then I'll be going straight to the Port Pirates. So I will be there. Andy, you're tentative?
Yeah. I don't want to say yes and then turn around at the last second and say, no, I'm not coming like last weekend. So
I'll pick you up at 6:30.
All right. Can we do the
plaque?
The plaque?
Yeah, the plaque. It's a very good point. We should, and we've only mentioned Con and Lena at the start, so let's stop down very quickly as well. A lot of grand finals were played last weekend. There's more this weekend as well in footy. Yep. Finals happening in all other sports. If you haven't got your trophy sorted yet, please make sure you contact Con and Lena at Brighton Trophy Centre. Brilliant people, more so. And, hey, I don't know if you guys saw, they had their wedding anniversary over the past few days. Congratulations to Con and Lena.
Yep.
Amazing people. We're going to catch up with Con really soon and have some bevies. Best Team Men merchandise Connor's purchase. How do people get them, Andy?
Yeah, all they need to do is either go to ozcastnetwork.com or, even just search Best Team Men merch. It'll come up.
Yeah, awesome. And there's some great stuff, and it's legit as well, we think. So, Con, as soon as
find out because I should get mine.
As soon as you get it, we need you to post a photo of it, and we want to see you having it. All of the money goes back into the podcast. It's as simple as that.
It doesn't. I've just bought a Lambo. Not again, Andy.
Yeah, and look, if you want to actually advertise your business, and we're talking the commercials which are really part of the business. So we can do live commercials for you. We can do recorded ones, have them produced up. Podvertising is something which is really important, and what Ozcast Network really founding as part of a new part of their business, which we think is great, but we want to help your business as well. So we are grateful for our sponsors, but if you want to put a bit of money back into Ozcast, that's the way to do it. And I don't know how it all works. That's what Andy's here for. We get you to stop down and tell us, but don't.
Yeah, we've run out of SD card space again.
So who are we putting on the plaque? And we can talk about the multi at the end.
Yeah, well, speaking of merchandise sales, James Blaseby, he received the T-shirt in the last couple of days, so I expect to see a picture soon.
Wonder if he's mates with James Blunt.
Why is that?
Oh, because you get blazed smoking a blunt.
See, your Willie Nelson one was better.
The Willie Nelson one's good, isn't it?
Yeah, tell us that one.
That's my go-to. So, Andy.
Yeah. I'm Lyndon.
Did you hear Willie Nelson died the other day?
No.
He got hit by a car.
Really?
Yeah, he was singing on the road again.
Hey, Andy, what about the actress who got stabbed, Reese?
Jesus.
Reese.
Reese who?
What's her surname? I don't know. Reese.
Witherspoon?
No, with a knife.
Hey, Andy. What's 50 Cent's name in Zimbabwe?
Oh, that's a bit racist. What?
$4 million.
Hey, Andy, what's the difference between peanut butter and jam?
What's the difference between peanut butter and jam?
No, what's better than eating a... Okay, so James Blaseby, if you're a real person, you need to show us that you listen to the podcast. I'm going to put my wife on there because hopefully she hasn't listened to the last round. I think she's refusing to listen to it because
that's
of her...
probably a good thing.
That's fair.
And who are you putting on there?
I'm putting my wife on there because she bought me a Ozcast Network Best Team Men t-shirt.
Fanta. That is awesome. The multi... We got so close to winning the multi
twice, and
I think my suggestion is it is the people's multi. But when we win a multi, and we will, that money just goes straight back to Matty. that goes
I'm a little bit down at the moment.
That goes straight back to Matt. We are going to do a multi, but it goes straight back into Matt's account until we break even.
If you spend $10 on the multi and you won all of them, what is the winning that comes back from it, money wise? Is it a percentage or is it like
I don't know the question.
Okay. Goes. How much money do you win off $10 if you win the multi?
Depends on the odds.
Yeah, depends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
right.
they vary.
This weekend just been, or the one you just did this week, if you won that, how much would
$110?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you have an addictive personality. Yeah. Do not leave that to Matt.
So what's this multi thing, guys?
You just need to focus about getting off the gears. Oh, the beers. Follow us on the socials. It's been a great round. We are going to speak to the Skeff from the Port Pirates. That is definitely happening. We are going to do that. We know we keep talking about it, but it's been a long round and we don't care. We're having a great time. Boys,
Absolutely.
It's great to see you all.
Always good.
Yeah, you too.
Now, we have another podcast which is going to drop this week. It is called Booze Team Men. Working title, or it is called that?
Whatever you guys want.
Okay, well, if you've got any other suggestions...
Maybe we'll name it at the end of the episode.
We'll name it at the end of the episode. So Jamie's dropped off some Tomich wines that we're going to have. We've got some Shifty Lizard, and it's just pretty much what we're doing here, but we'll be able to just have a drink while we're doing it.
You know what we'll purchase, and I don't want Con to go and make this and give it to us for free.
Don't say it because he will.
He will.
Just say it. No, say it.
All right.
Con,
can you please do this for us, Con?
No, don't say that. Con, if you go out and spend any more money on us, what we are going to do is not promote the Brighton Trophy Centre. We're going to find another trophy centre.
Please stop spending money.
The Semaphore Framing Palace.
Summoning Park Trophy Centre. Lena's
no, they've got bad blood, those guys, like Crips and the Bloods. Yeah.
Lena's like, oh, Con, not again.
Con just sold his house to send it to buy T-shirts.
Is like, 3 taster sort of booze team men or beverage team men, what do you want to call it? Things that we taste these boozes out of.
Oh, glasses.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we can sell them on the merchandise.
Oh, you can. That's a great idea. You know what we should do for the first one is we should drink out of the trophy.
That is amazing. Yes, please, sir.
Okay, we need to wash it first, though, because
the alcohol will kill it.
That is very true. Hey, boys, it's been great spending time with you. I've had to pay for parking 3 times.
Hopefully my loading zone's held up.
There's a 4-hour one. You're laughing. Bye.
See ya.
Ozcast.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.